Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Building a Culture of Innovation, Recognition and Rewards Tactics for Consumer Packaged Goods Companies. My name is Raviola. I work with marketing in CMOS Cloud, and I'll be moderating this webinar today. We have a special guest today. It's Petar Kocev. He's a senior staff customer success manager at CMOS Cloud. He works closely with customers and has the first-hand experience and knowledge when it comes to maximizing recognition and rewards program benefits and optimizing these programs for best adoption and impact. We'll explore the topic of challenges companies face in the consumer packaged goods industry, best practices for recognition and rewards programs, how to improve belonging, collaboration, and engagement of employees with the help of recognition and rewards programs. We are going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about CMOS Cloud for those of you who aren't familiar. Great. We are an independent software company that provides HR tech solutions for more than 10 years already. Our clients are very successful enterprises, and we have more than 30 of clients in the global Fortune 500. And we're gaining speed as we talk. Our partners are also leading enterprise software vendors such as SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft. We are primarily dealing with employee experience, and our employee experience suite comprises 4 separate solutions that can be also combined together. These are Job Points, our flagship solution for recognition and rewards, Skills and Growth, Nurture, and Well-being. Nurture is our employee communication solution, providing companies with employee listening, feedback, and internal communications. We assist companies in boosting employees' well-being, health, and ability. Impact and Skills is a talent intelligence solution for identifying, reporting, and running a skills strategy. Now let's talk a little bit briefly just about what the agenda is going to be during today's webinar. We are going to talk about challenges CPG companies face and their focus. We'll talk about some practical examples for driving innovation in these companies, how to track data and what data to track to make informed decisions, and also we'll have a short Q&A at the end with Petar. I'd also like to announce to everyone that after this webinar, everybody who has registered is going to get a short email with a special gift containing the sampler called Building the Culture of Innovation, Recognition and Rewards Tactics. So please keep an eye on your inbox, and you'll also get a recording from the webinar. And as we go further towards our presentation today, let me say a couple of words about Petar Kocev. He brings a unique perspective to customer success thanks to his background in the medical field. Prior to this role, he led a successful support team, honing his ability to understand and address client needs effectively. Now, Petar leverages his medical knowledge and leadership skills to ensure the success of over 10 major clients at CMOS Cloud. He's passionate about using his diverse expertise to drive positive outcomes and build lasting partnerships within the customer success realm. And with that, I'd like to welcome Petar today. Hi and welcome, and we're so happy to have you on this call today. Hi.
Hello, Yoya. Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm very happy to be invited and very happy that I have a chance to talk about a bit on this webinar about a few things that you've already mentioned and covered in the previous agenda. So with that being said, I will no longer take anybody of their time and simply just go through what we're going to be discussing today. So what's the first thing that we're actually going to be discussing? And that's the consumer packaged goods companies and what challenges they're actually facing. So with this, as you can notice here, we have a couple of points that have been added. And that's the balancing sustainability and innovation, the building a diverse and engaged workforce, prioritizing employee well-being, and also the limited rewards strategies. Now, I'm going to hang on a bit for each of these topics just so that we can see what are those challenges and that, let's say, companies are facing nowadays. So when it comes to balancing sustainability and innovation, nowadays there's a dual challenge of meeting consumer demand for eco-friendly practices while driving innovation and growth. What companies, in a way, let's say, must do is to prioritize sustainability in packaging and product development, leveraging innovative technologies and materials to reduce environmental impact, but without compromising on creativity and progress. This requires a strategic approach that integrates with sustainability goals into every stage of the product lifecycle, while at the same time fostering a culture of innovation that seeks out new solutions aligned with the environmental stewardship. So ultimately, to cover this first point is successfully navigating the balance between sustainability and innovation is paramount for companies that are aiming to thrive in today's dynamic business landscape while contributing positively to the environmental stewardship and meeting customer expectations. Moving on to our second point here, which is building a diverse and engaged workforce. So, here, in order to thrive in a competitive market, organizations must prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to attract and retain top talent. By implementing robust talent development programs and offering competitive comparison, compensation, and benefits packages, including non-traditional options such as adoption and stock ownership, companies can create an inclusive environment where employees feel valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique perspectives and skills. So, in essence, fostering a diverse and engaged workforce not only enhances organizational performance and innovations, but also reflects a commitment to equality and inclusivity, positioning companies for a long term success in a rapid evolving global marketplace. When it comes to prioritizing employee well-being, I'm simply just gonna say it that this can be and in future will be one of the most unique parts that each, let's say, employee is gonna search for in a company. So the employee well-being is paramount in maintaining a productive and engaged workforce. Companies should invest in creating primarily a safe work environment, implementing comprehensive health and wellness programs, and promoting work balance through flexible work arrangements. So, by prioritizing the physical, mental, and emotional health of employees, organizations can foster a culture of support and resilience, leading to increased job satisfaction, productivity, and retention rates. Ultimately, by prioritizing employee well being, organizations not only cultivate a positive work culture, but also lay the foundation of sustained employee satisfaction, productivity, and loyalty. While all of this is, let's say, accomplished with this, we're driving overall success and resilience in the face of the challenges. Our final point for from let's say from this slide is the limited reward strategies, and here intensifying desired behaviors such as innovation requires a reimagining of traditional reward strategies. Companies should explore innovative total rewards packages that go beyond monetary compensation to include recognition programs, professional development opportunities, and meaningful work experiences.
Petar, if I may intercept for a second
Sure.
here, you mentioned innovative total rewards packages.
Yeah.
For our viewers who may be wondering, could you please explain the difference between the traditional approach to total rewards and this innovative approach to total rewards? And if you have a few examples to share.
Yes, yes, of course. So, how I can begin by answering this question is that I know that, let's say the traditional ways are never going to go out of, let's say, out of their ways, and they're always going to be, and some companies are always going to stick maybe with the more traditional ones. But now we're moving, let's say, to that era where each company should be, let's say, more innovative in a way. So that's why I'm going to simply just put a couple of examples from the traditional way of traditional, let's say, methods and also the innovative. So examples of traditional would be giving salary and bonuses, having health and wealth benefits, retirement plans, for example, and there are other bits. So I'm just going to say etc. here. But when it comes to innovative tier packages, they're, let's say, more modern. So now, because we're working in that era where somebody's working from home, but somebody's, let's say they're doing maybe hybrid working from home and office, but let's say they're a couple of people that are working fully from home. So we're giving like the innovative would be flexible work arrangements. So there can be stock ownership programs, learning and development opportunities, employee discounts and perks such as that. So yeah, that would be the answer to.
Great, thank you.
Great. So, and by aligning rewards with organizational values and objectives, businesses can actually motivate employees to think creatively, take risks, and drive innovations. When with that, ultimately fueling long-term growth and success. So, in conclusion, by embracing innovative total rewards strategies tailored to evolving needs and values of employees, organizations can foster a culture of innovation, engagement, and excellence. And with that, we're driving sustained growth and success in today's competitive landscape. So, everybody that listens, these are the 4 points that we're going to cover in terms of the consumer packaged goods that companies are actually being challenged with. Now, I'm going to move on to our next slide, which is that organizations that have ingrained the culture of appreciations are 3 times likely to innovate effectively. So, we're not going to stick to, let's say, to this topic that much, but moving on to how we can actually, let's say, in a way accomplish this. So on our next slide, what you're going to see is empowering everyone in your organization to become a driver of innovation while enhancing employee satisfaction and loyalty. So here we're going to cover a couple of points in terms of how you can boost that innovation through R&R, which is a recognition and rewards programs. The first point that we have here is the tailored recognition programs, and these are essential for aligning employees' efforts with company values and desired behaviors. So, by customizing recognition initiatives to reflect the organization's core principles, employees are more likely to feel valued and motivated. So, these programs can range from peer-to-peer recognition platform to formal award ceremonies, highlighting individuals or maybe even teams who have exemplified the company's values in their work. Regular communication, of course, about the connection between the recognition and company values reinforces the importance and encourages widespread participation. Providing tangible rewards, such as gift cards or additional time off, maybe, further intensifies employees to embody these values in their daily activities. Continuous evaluation and refinement of recognition program ensure that they remain relevant and impactful as the company evolves. So, to give you a bit of insight in terms of the tailored recognition programs, is how we usually proceed when we do have, let's say, a new client that is being onboarded, is that we primarily discuss how they're actually seeing this configuration to be done, what's their plan. Do they have like any idea what they would like to implement into their company, what values they would like to highlight, and what values would they like to give to their users so that they can recognize others. By tailored recognition programs, they are going to have they're having like the full ability to bring out these values, these company values that they're using. But it's not always, let's say, about the values. There can be a couple of different tailored recognition programs that can bring something else, some let's say a characteristic of a user in order for them to being recognized with. So in regards to the tailored recognition programs, that's why we, let's say, jump here as a customer success manager. We're always, being on the lookout and always discussing this openly with the client so that we can find the perfect, let's say, solution for let's say peer-to-peer programs, for example. Moving on to our next point, which is the nomination programs. So nomination programs inject healthy competition into the workplace by allowing employees to nominate their peers for recognition. So this process fosters a sense of camaraderie and teamwork, as colleagues acknowledge each other's contributions. By opening the nomination process to all employees, regardless of hierarchical position, organizations promote inclusivity and diversity in recognition efforts. Encouraging employees to provide specific examples of how nominees have demonstrated desired behaviors or achieved notable outcomes adds depth and authenticity to the recognition process. Voting of nominations further engages employees in the recognition process, empowering them to have a say in who receives recognition. Regularly publicizing nominated individuals and winners reinforces the program's impact and encourages ongoing participation.
Better allow me to intercept here once
Mhm.
again. You're talking about nomination programs and nominating individuals for something. For those who haven't done these kind of programs in their companies within or outside of their recognition and rewards programs, how can a company decide its nomination criteria and what kind of nomination programs exist? Can you name a few examples?
Yes, yes, most definitely. Thank you for that question, Yuya. So, what companies are usually doing, and this is like a regular thing that each company has, is to promote, let's say, a user that has brought something, let's say, major into the company or into the, let's say, I'm gonna say the atmosphere in the workplace. So, I'm just gonna give like an example of which is the most usual one, like employee of the month, or let's say employee of the quarter. That's the most common nomination programs that are being used between our users. So with that, we are giving the ability for primarily users to be involved in the process of the nomination, because at the end, the users are the one that interact with each other. So they're going to be the ones that are going to proceed with the nomination. They're going to choose which value that user has brought, let's say in that project, that has brought into in that month or into that quarter, or let's say if it's annually into that year fully. And with that, they're, let's say, nominating that user. They're giving a description of why that user has been nominated. And we also do even have a part where you can add it, you can attach a proof of, how good is an employee or is a user. After that, we're moving on, of course, to the voting process. That also can be skipped if there is, let's say, internal voting process that's done between the company. Again, that's policies that each company follows. But other than that, the importance is that each of these nominations actually are there into the system, let's say, as an example of what somebody can achieve, and how it actually going to feel like when they're being nominated. And I'm not going to say, if they're actually the winner, what's going to be the feeling that user is going to feel, and that feeling is going to be passed on to all their other, employees or all their other colleagues, so that they can also strive to maybe reach to that point.
Okay, so I suppose it also depends on the company's overall goals, what the needs of a specific department are, what kind of activities do we want to see more of, and what kind of encourage or behavior we want to encourage.
Yes, yes, exactly. Just to add up here, so each of the company, as you mentioned, has their own criteria. So it doesn't necessarily means that it should be open to everybody. So it can maybe be a closed circle. But again, that's something that, let's say, we're helping them with. And in terms of how they can manage that. So once we have the idea, we as a customer success managers are here to perfect, let's say, that idea and bring it into life by, of course, using the platform.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Next point that we have here is the earn points campaigns. And the earn point campaigns leverages incentives to reward innovative ideas and forward thinking individuals. So by assigning point values, let's say, to various achievements or contributions aligned with company goals, employees are motivated to actively pursue opportunities for innovation and improvement. Points can be redeemed for rewards such as cash bonuses, additional vacation days, or maybe exclusive experiences, providing tangible benefits for employees' efforts. Transparent criteria for earning points and tracking progress ensures fairness and clarity in the actual campaign, and regular communication, of course, about campaign updates and success stories maintain the momentum and encourages continued participation. Incorporating feedback mechanisms allows employees to suggest improvement or share ideas for future campaigns that fosters a sense of ownership and investment in the program success.
Peter, forgive me if you may. I have another question I have to intercept. I know you have an expansive experience dealing with clients and ensuring their success, and that their goals are aligned to what the programs can do, and that the programs are perfectly aligned to what the
Mhm.
companies need. What I'd like to hear is, since you're talking about the earn points campaigns, what are some examples of how the clients have used earn point campaigns and what for?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So there are a couple of campaigns that are on top of my head in terms of what clients can use in terms of the earn points campaign. So I'm gonna go with the most simplest one and then move on to the most specific one, let's say. So one, which is let's say the most simple is, let's say we are trying to get the environment better. We're trying to grow more trees, right? We're trying to make, let's say, this planet greener. So I can have an earn point campaign that, depending on how many trees I plant in a period of time, so the campaign can be open in a period of time. It can be for a quarter, it can be for half a year, or it can be for a full year. And depending on how many trees I'm actually, let's say, planting throughout the year or throughout that quarter, I'm getting rewarded for that. So that's the most simple, by just from me submitting the actual proof of how many plants I have actually planted in a period of time in a way eligible for that earned points. That's why it's actually called earned points. Other examples of how earned point campaigns are actually used is referrals. We all know that by each company loves actually getting referred people into their company, especially when it comes from the inner circle into the company. So we can use our endpoint campaign in that way as well, to reward users that are going to bring, let's say, quality people into the company simply just by referring them. Of course, it goes through all of those processes, interviewing and all that stuff, but the thing is that you're with this type of campaign, you're actually increasing the engagement with the user from two perspectives. One is for them to actually use the actual platform that they've bought, so that they can get that engagement higher. And the second thing is that you're including them into some parts that are left out in most of the companies, because we all know that, let's say, picking up employees is something that we have whole departments that are going to do. So I believe, Yoy, I'm going to cover only these two examples.
These are perfect. Thank you. So you've mentioned a sustainability goal, which is quite a common goal for
Mm-hmm.
companies in the packaged goods industry, and also referral campaigns, points campaigns that are used as
Mm-hmm.
referrals. For your referrals, since talent gap, skills gap is an ongoing issue for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of companies, this can be a nice way to engage this activity.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, the final point of this page is the Employee Appreciation Days. Now, what Employee Appreciation Days does provide is dedicated opportunities to celebrate innovation and recognize the contribution of employees. These events can take various forms, from company-wide gatherings to department-specific activities tailored to reflect the organization's culture and values. Recognizing individual or teams for their innovative accomplishments during these events reinforces the importance of creativity and forward thinking in driving the company's success. Incorporating fun and interactive elements such as team building exercises or themed activities enhances employees' engagement and fosters a sense of community. Providing Small token of appreciation, such as branded merchandise or personalized notes for leadership, adds a personal touch to the actual celebration. Regularly scheduling employee appreciation days throughout the entire year ensures that recognition effort remains consistent and in fact impactful, reinforcing a culture of appreciation and gratitude within the organization. So, what I can talk about a bit more here about the employee appreciation days is that I can honestly say is something that is the most asked, is something that is mostly used throughout our clients. So the ability to have one system, that's first, that you're going to have all of these celebrations into one spot. It's a major thing, and it's something good that each employee is primarily able to express their accomplishments throughout the platform. They're able to share that with their colleagues so that they can get endorsed, they can get the congratulations. Because if it's not, let's say, recorded anywhere, it's not like we're gonna go throughout the office, and just brag for something, for an accomplishment that we did. So the other part of the employee appreciation days is that here we also can capture the milestones. What usually refers to milestones are, let's say, service anniversaries. So we all know that let's say being in a company for a certain amount of years is it's a milestone that you can accomplish, and that is automatically recorded into the system. It does generate even further memory book, let's say a whole book with all of the celebrations from your colleagues. And again, the end point of having this employee appreciation, this is the communication, is the engagement between each user. And that's what the recognition and rewards platform is all about. Okay, moving on to our next slide. So this is where we talked in regards to the program values, the nomination programs, the incentives, which are the earn points campaigns, employee appreciation days as our last point. And now we're moving on to track recognition data and make informed decisions. And on this slide, what we do have is 2 points. One is the culture profile analytics, which is mostly for each user. I'm not going to say individually, but each user to be, in a way, to have the information at a hand of a company level, department level, and a team level comparison. So what Job Points actually offers is the culture profile analytics, where each user, doesn't really matter if they're just regular user, a manager, or let's say even a CEO. They do have the ability to access this part, that are able to see what's trending, what's happening in terms of being recognized into my company. So on a company level, we can see trending values on a macro scale of the company. On a department level, I can compare my department with another department, so that I can see, okay, this department or my department is actually receiving much more recognitions. And those recognitions does not really necessarily means that they should come only within that department. So the other important part for the platform is that engagement is on a company level. It's not on a department level. It's not on an organizational unit level. It mainly is on a company level. The final part is a team level, so that you can compare dynamic teams based on the number of recognitions and values they uphold. Moving on to the manager analytics. Now, this is a part that is also available for managers, but it's also available to regular users as well. Of course, the difference here is in terms of the view of what each user can see and what the manager can see. But I'm going to stick to the manager side here, so that you can get an idea of what it can do and what details it can show. So as you can see on the left side, we have a couple of points. One is recognition engagement, which, as you can see, you have a visual representation of a recognition received, an engagement score, which is 3 levels deeper on the hierarchy. We can do a comparison, which is a drill down analytics for each individual member of the team, and that's how we're going to make that comparison. We have my impact, which is, even though you're a manager, it doesn't necessarily means that you should not, of course, send recognitions. The main point is for you as well as manager to engage and to use the platform as well. So this is where you can see, your contributions, your engagement on the system, and also your recognitions that you've given. And as a final point, we have the manager statements, which is actually just a monthly report of insights. So everything that you're going to be able to see on this point here under the analytics part is something that you're going to be able to download, and so that you can maybe, drill down even further if needed.
And maybe even used for performance reviews to
Exactly, maybe
identify
even use exactly, Yoyo.
where performance is lagging, which employees need to be re-engaged, and which managers are gatekeeping the appreciation in the company. This
Mhm.
is quite it's not often said, but it very much matters because managers are the stewards of company culture. And if they block the appreciation of certain values, then that's a problem. And this analytics can help solve it.
Exactly, Yoyo. Definitely on point.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're moving on to the Q&A here.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that because I have some very interesting questions for you that I'm sure our audience would like to know about. Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay, so let's say, you can show this thing that you just showed before I start asking. So this document, Building a Culture of Innovation, Recognition and Rewards Tactics, is a very useful guide and document that we are going to send to all the participants of this webinar. So whoever registered, you're going to get it. So my question to you, Petar, many companies would like to know, just before they start building a successful recognition program, or maybe they already have a recognition program in place, but it's not
Mhm.
working as well as they hoped for. So what are those essential elements a company needs to define at the outset?
Yes, Yoya. So there are a couple of ways on, let's say, how we can structure the ideal recognition program. However, today I'm going to focus on the ones that actually brings positive outcome here. So primarily by having multiple programs for recognizing immediately brings diversity and a dose of curiosity to the users. They can check out the program description and assistance, and with that, they can decide which program is most suitable for their recognition criteria. Here we have, let's say, two types of programs. So by offering non-monetary and monetary programs, as such, we are giving a direction to the users in their primary idea for recognizing. What they can also do is to build a program that will be either global or local. Global means that all users will have access to the program. That means it's, let's say, globally going to be sent throughout the platform, and it's usually used for cross-country projects where there are teams involved from different countries, different teams, etc. Where the local programs are for acknowledging the success in a certain region, unit, or even a country. So this is the part where, when it comes to the local, where we do have the ability to set up programs that are going to be strictly be, let's say, structured in a way so that senders and recipients are either only within one department or maybe between a couple of departments. So however, these 2 points mentioned are towards recognizing a colleague for a job well done, or a colleague that went above and beyond in a certain type of project. So to simplify it, recognizing, of course, the star that we've all noticed. So when we talk about localization and visibility of the program, so by having the ability to define the givers and receivers, like I mentioned before, for the local programs of a certain recognition program, you can design programs specifically for a certain area. So what's even better here is that you can bring this to the users primarily in their local language, by the support of having multiple language on the application as well. When we talk about creating monetary programs, so it's important to be flexible with the budgeting. So that's point number one. What our platform does offer is, of course, a variety of budgets that are flexible and will allow customization across different programs. And you can also ensure budget allocation is equitable and supports recognition for all employees. When it comes to rewarding part, it's important to back this up and also to simplify the process. Since usually monetary recognitions are mostly connected with points, it's best, of course, to offer a variety of local and global products that users can redeem. Or if you have like a custom store or you have a custom gift that you're going to give to the user, that's what we also can suggest and what we can also do on our platform. What's very important, of course, is and also really warming. I'm gonna mention like that to a user is the ability to celebrate the professional and personal achievements, like we did talk on our previous pages. So for this, what we do have, of course, is a fully developed section that allows the users to celebrate their milestones and personal achievements. And with this, we're bringing nearness between colleagues and friends. Of course, not to forget to mention, at the end of the celebration, each user is left with a memory for life, which is what we call it, a memory book with a compilation of all of their congratulations from their colleagues. Another interesting part for the end user is that they have access, when they access actually the rewards and recognition platform, to see their company branding. So we have the ability to of course design the application as per the company branding book, and this is where it's, I'm gonna say, like the most exciting part that we're doing with the client. So they're sharing us their ideas of how they would like to look, by offering us their primary or maybe secondary branding colors. We're trying to make our magic in the background, and then when we do show the first expression that we're going to see from the client, of course when it's good, it's always very pleasant to see. But with this, we are actually designing, of course, the application with the branding color so that each they feel like home. And it's why it's important per client's branding guidelines that reflects that company's unique culture. And this can be backed up as well by developing engaging e-cards, physical materials such as posters and banners, and user guides for easier navigation throughout the platform. What's optional here are optional considerations are to choose a billing option that suits your needs and ensure, of course, tax compliance when it comes to change management strategy. It's important to implement a structured communication plan to effectively roll out the recognition program. So it's key to prepare users regarding their R&R platform. What is the idea behind it, and what it will bring? I'm just gonna talk a bit here about the change management strategy. Is what we do is we have like a full list of what can be and what needs to be communicated. So let's say something that is optional, but something that is, let's say, I'm going to say a must. So as a first point that I can mention as a must is the company should inform and should introduce users to what they're going to bring, so that they can build up the excitement of the user before even go live, and when they actually go live, they are gonna get the full experiences. So the usage of the platform at the beginning when it goes live, it's enormous, and all of that, let's say, that track is because of that preparations that we're doing together with the client to make the communication easier, to make the communication easily understandable for users of what they're going to bring, and of course to get that idea across to the users of what this platform can actually bring to them. To talk about a bit from an admin perspective, it's important, of course, to measure all that we mentioned so far. So with capabilities to generate real-time reports, you will be able to analyze program adoption and effectiveness, so tracking ROI, simulate the potential impact of costs, employee retention and well-being, to demonstrate, of course, the program's value. So by addressing these elements, you can build a recognition program that's impactful, engaging, and supports a thriving workspace culture. And at the end, I'm just going to mention a couple of keys to successful recognition and in terms of creating a sense of community. So what we do encourage clients to leverage the platform's social features in a few ways. So make, of course, recognition messages to be visible in the social world. It's basically how, let's say, how it works on Facebook as well. What this brings is that these employees can actually interact with recognition and show their support by liking and commenting on recognition messages, by sharing and tagging. So recognition can be easily shared with other colleagues, can be tagged, and with that, we're fostering those connections. And of course, not to forget to mention the boosting of recognition, where employees can boost and impactful recognition messages for even greater visibility. So this familiar social media experience makes the platform easy to navigate and encourages interaction between the users. The platform's gamification feature can also contribute to a more engaging and collaborative environment. For example, publicly announcing nominees or winners or recognition programs can create a healthy sense of competition and motivate employees to achieve their best. So by implementing the strategies, companies can leverage the recognition platform to build a strong sense of community and, of course, employee engagement. So, Joya, my answer was kind of big.
Yes, I
It
was
was
just
kind of
about to
stretched
tell you.
out, but I wanted, to just mention a couple of ways of, what we can do, what we can help with, and also what's this gonna end as a result.
I think the answer was perfect. It was thorough, it was detailed, and it gave everything a person needs to know when thinking about what are those factors that need to be considered at the outset of planning a recognition and rewards programs. So if I may try to summarize what you've just said. So program planner in cooperation with customer success managers, so because they work closely together, as I understand, they first need to decide the globality or the locality of the program, the needs, specific needs of the workforce. Are they going to have recognition and rewards programs that are targeting only a specific location or the entire company? Then is the recognition peer-to-peer? What is the visibility of the program? Is the program visible in all the sections? Are the programs monetary or non-monetary? You've talked a bit about budgeting. Here I
Mhm.
had a couple of questions. The flexibility of the budgeting. Why is that important for companies to have this flexibility?
Yes, so when it comes to budgeting flexibility, what that means is that we're not that simple in terms of, okay, here's the budget, like there it is, like use it. What we do have is the flexibility here is that we can decide on which criteria we can give that budget for. We can decide, of course, whether we would like to have budget, fully in our, let's say, peer-to-peer monetary recognitions. So the flexibility comes here that you as an end user or as an HR manager primarily knows the budgeting in terms of internally in the company, and then knows has, I'm going to say, has the idea of how we would like that budget to be used. Because we have a couple of ways, whether it's going to be straightforward, let's say without any type of approving, or maybe it's going to be on one level or maybe even two levels, depending on, of course, the reward that's in the background. So this is, let's say, the flexibility that we have. And also, I'm not going to mention that we have, budgets that can be only attached to certain areas, to certain countries. So there are a couple of classifications, but we're not going to dive deep.
Okay, thank you. That's much clearer now. You also talked about ROI, which I think is a very, very important factor when choosing a rewards and recognition platform. The ROI and the ability to generate real-time reports analyzing program adoption and effectiveness of these targeted programs. I think these are going to come very valuable for people who are just starting out with the recognition and rewards program.
Yes, if I can just add here, so when it comes to the ROI, and only that sense of having, something backing you up, like report. It's very important for a company, especially for admins, because primarily, as you mentioned, you can track, the platform utilization. Let's say that's going to be in global in terms of users going in, recognizing or not. A second thing, you can track the actual successfulness of a program that you've tailored. So you're going to know every time, is my program successful or not? If not, okay, what can I do to improve, right? How can I promote this? So of course we are here to help as well as customer success managers, but we mostly, let's say, are going to aim to use the program so that we can get that retention, we can get that reactiveness of that program and that engagement to be successful on the platform.
Okay, thank you. Do you have time for another question?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so an ongoing pain point is how to increase a sense of belonging, collaboration, and active participation among employees. So, how can a recognition and rewards program be used to create a sense of belonging, collaboration, and active participation?
Of course, yeah. So there are a couple of things here. First thing is, how we're going to communicate this with our users, right? Are we going to, and what we're actually going to include into that communication. So what we want to bring, what we want to achieve with a certain type of program. One major thing is that's mostly used are the values. So as a company, of course, we all want to promote our values. And with promotion of our values, we're going to see a, let's say, more higher usage of a program. So we have companies that are sticking with their company values, but we have companies that are going ad hoc with their values, right? Because it's not like they're going to get bored of their, company values. But if, for example, I'm tracking and I'm accomplishing all my company values, in that case, let me see what else I can do, right? Let me see where else maybe I can improve, or what else I can bring into this company. So by having those diversity between company values and, let's say, doing good, let's say, in general, we can easily increase the engagement of the platform and especially on the program. And with that, our reporting is going to be, let's say, through the roof. So we're going to have positive outcome. We're going to have recognitions that are being sent out. And of course, like I mentioned at the beginning, as long as we communicate, for example, as HR, we communicate this part effectively to the users of the idea behind either different values or a different type of program and what it's going to bring at the end. So those are kind of my points for this, Yo-Yo.
All right, thank you very much. And with this, I would like to conclude today's session. Let me just offer a couple of finishing thoughts. So, Petar, you gave us an excellent overview of the challenges consumer goods industries face. And if I may summarize this, I could say that these companies today face the twin challenges of eco-friendliness and innovation. They're weaving sustainability into every step of product life, from green packaging to creative development, all while keeping the innovation spirit alive. In the talent area, the consumer goods companies are championing diversity, inclusion, and belonging, offering more than just good pay to create workplaces where everyone's appreciated, valued, and innovation thrives. Uh, Employee well-being is another challenge these companies face. It's about creating safe spaces, sustainability practices as well. They come inside this section, health programs and flexible schedules to keep teams happy, healthy, and productive. And finally, when it comes to rewards, it's out with the old and in with the new. We are ditching the traditional approach to reward system, as Peter has nicely explained, and adopting these new reward system that inspire the innovative behaviors that are needed for a greener and brighter future. And in order to overcome all these challenges, the consumer goods companies, they need to employ some specific employee engagement strategies. And one of them is certainly recognition and rewards. Innovation thrives when employees feel valued for their ideas. Recognition programs, nomination systems, point-based incentives all motivate employees to contribute. celebrating innovation through dedicated appreciation days that Petar has also talked about, reinforces these efforts, building a company culture that embraces creativity and forward thinking. For more ideas on how to create an excellent recognition and reward system, please stick around or watch for your inbox, because we are going to be sending you Building a Culture of Innovation, Recognition and Rewards Tactics guide and sampler. So that is our gift to you. And with that, I would like to give a huge thanks to Petar. Thank you very much for being here and sharing your insights.
Thank you very much for having me. Talk to you soon.
Yes, I will be happy to see you soon. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye bye. Did you stop recording?
Yeah. And webinar for all. Okay, see you on Teams. Bye.